If anyone's in and already listening, hello. Let me know if you can hear me talking because I can't check. As if I turn the sound on for my own Twitch stream, I'll create a horrible feedback loop and kill everyone. Sorry for the delay, I'm just fixing my Tumblr update as well. It looks like the program I use to auto share from Facebook to Tumblr doesn't pull URLs. So when I shared it, it just shared an image saying Twitch painting stream live with no way to reach the channel, which is a bit crap. I have to edit that, find a way of getting it to auto share properly. I still haven't found an actual decent way of auto sharing directly from Facebook to other media. Always seems to have trouble like this. Hello! Just seeing the chat now, so if I'm a bit late in responding, forgive me, I'm just getting everything ready. Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for checking that for me. Okay, just closing down everything else I don't need running because this Mac is not the greatest and I don't want it dying in midstream. That would be bad. Okay, looks good. Okay, so what I'm doing today is, first of all, I'm using my much better webcam, but the only problem is I've not used it before at all, and it's a Microsoft webcam, and this is a Mac, so they're not really the best of friends, to say the least. So I had to go to a ridiculous amount of effort to actually get this webcam to be able to use any of its settings. I had to pay for an app. Oh man, the whole thing was just stupid. But it's pretty much set up now, and while it's not like it's decent at this level, this kind of distance, the best part about it is just how detailed it can show in at zooms. That's pretty nice for a relatively cheap webcam. The only problem is I'm going to test this out with having autofocus enabled for this session. So you can see it's a little bit, struggling a little bit, but I'll see how it goes. I might enable a better kind of like self-controlled focus if this doesn't work out that well. But I think it should be okay. I'm also going to take a photo for you so you can see how terrible my setup is right now, and I'll show it on my page later. A Patreon, I think that's a really, really cool idea, but it's not something I would be ready to do straight away. I don't believe in saying, oh hey, I'm going to do some Twitch streaming, and then immediately setting up like subscriber goals and everything. I think I might be jumping in a bit ahead of myself there. I set up a little donate button just because it was the first thing everyone told me to do, but that's more for if anyone wants to give me money to buy a new brush or something like that. It's not for subscriptions. It is something I would like to do in the future as well, but the problem is that I work full-time 11-hour shifts 5 days a week, and I don't get that much time to paint. And my biggest problem with commission painting was that I just didn't have the time for it as soon as I started working again, so now I kind of do everything in my own time. And I don't want to, set up a Patreon and then be like, oh, sorry, too busy to do anything this week, guys. I think that's a bit unfair. I'd rather just have people, want to join in and watch. For now, anyway. So, what I'm doing today is, continuing on with the Hive Tyrant's lovely wibbly skin pattern. Hopefully I'm going to be able to paint it okay with the camera this close to me, because I hope I don't knock the camera. This is a really strange pattern. Let me get it to focus in. I put some photos of it up on Facebook already. It doesn't look as nice as it does in real life on the camera, obviously, because I have this sharpened a lot in order to get a good film, and it's kind of negatively affecting what the model looks like, but screw it, it'll look okay in the end. And the main thing about this is that you have to keep going with this kind of pattern. It doesn't look any good at all until the majority of the model is done in it, because it just looks strange. But I'm going to keep pushing with it today and hopefully get a lot more done. Hopefully nearly all of it, to be honest. Maybe not the wings, because they are huge, but I'll try and get as much done as I can. The colour that's being used is this, which is Stonewall Grey. It's Vallejo game colour. You can get this, it's a really simple grey. It's nothing special. I mean, you could whip it up with literally just white and black if you wanted. It wouldn't be a problem. You wouldn't need to go out and purposefully buy it. I just happen to have a huge amount of Vallejo because I'm very, very fortunate, and a friend gave me tons. And it's all the old stuff. I have multiples of a lot of it, and I have a really suspicious amount of Vallejo effects. Like looking at my shelf, I've got like 5 of these, like slow dries. I don't know. I'm never going to use them, but I try and come up with excuses to use them. I have like crackle medium here. What have I got? Metallic medium for making really interesting custom metals with. Loads of cool stuff. So I try and use my Vallejo as often as I can, because why wouldn't I? I have loads. And I really, really like it, actually. I have to say, I much prefer it over the Citadel, although some of the new Citadel stuff is really nice. Ignore that. It's my cat. So a lot of the new Citadel stuff I really like. The new base paints and everything are lovely. But this is very simple. This is a lovely, quite liquidy grey as well, which is brilliant, because with what I'm doing here I have to overlay it over and over and over again. So having it being slightly transparent in the first place is really handy. And it's horrible, because I'm at the stage at the Mini now where it looks terrible, and I have to just keep pushing with it based on what's in my head and what I know it's going to look like when it's finished, and just hope for the best. But I know it'll be good. I know. Deep down. Okay. What I'm trying out as well, if anyone has done it, I'm sure they have actually, is these, this is a wet palette, which you can find a million ways of making these guys online. They're so simple. It's literally just wet tissue with a kind of paper over it. It can be loads of different kinds, baking paper, anything like that. But this is an actual wet palette paper from Winsor & Newton. And what it does is it allows a very, very, very small amount of the moisture from the wet tissue underneath it to come up through. So when you place your paint on it like this, it stays wet. And it really stays wet. Like, I can put a lid on this. This is a fast food box, you know, like from a takeaway. I can put a lid on this, and this will be wet in 2 weeks' time and usable, maybe with a tiny little bit of medium put into it. It's awesome. And if you are used to painting with just a dry palette, stop straight away, go find out, Google a really simple little guide on how to make one of these guys and use them, because you're being crazy. You can see the white balance is slightly off. This is a bit too bright. I'm gonna see if I can find a way of lowering this. Give me 2 seconds. A lot of what I'm gonna be doing today is actually experimenting with this webcam to get it to work, because it's new. Okay. It's a little bit better. Just lowering the contrast a little bit has helped, I think. Okay, that's better. There's that. Still infuriated that I had to spend fecking money on an application to get my webcam to work. I'm never going to forgive Apple. Okay, so let's see. I can probably push a bit further with this leg. It needs more. How I do this is I start off with doing the outline of the areas to get the kind of overall shape in, and then I'll add all the little swirly details. I'll try and get some of this done, maybe a little bit more, get the underside done, because this has only been started, and you can see it's very stark highlights. That's because I'm going to actually glaze it down again. So I'm going to bring it down to a darker shade, and then bring it back up once again. So it's quite a lot of hassle, but by the time it's done it looks quite nice. So just choosing a starting point on it, because I don't know about anyone here, but I have to be painting for about 10 minutes before my hand gets steady enough to do proper any kind of fine lining. If I start off on it straight away, I'm like, ooh. So I have to kind of get my motor skills kicked up a little bit before I start doing anything incredibly delicate. But I'm gonna just start kind of just getting the overall shape down on this leg before I start joining any parts together or making any little detail bits. So hopefully my hands aren't too shaky. Pretty shaky. It'll be better soon. I really love the shape of Tyranids. I love all their little bits and bobs, all the little swirly lines, little interesting areas. Oh, and I've just noticed that I completely forgot to paint these spines blue. Okay, go back to that later. Oh man, my hands are really shaky. I have to be really careful for a little while. I think my first ever 40k figures were Tyranids, actually, now I think about it. I had a little Tyranid army and I had no idea how to paint, so I painted them all up. They were black, and I gave them like these incredibly bright blue highlights along all the black, and then neon green on top of that, so they look like they're from the Tron movie. I thought they were really cool. They weren't, but I thought they were. Oh my god. Sorry, a little shout. One of my cats is deaf, so he has no idea that he's being that loud. I'm gonna go throw him out the window. Sorry. This is the problem with having a little deaf cat. He just has no comprehension that he's being as loud as he actually is. So you have to kind of go remind him. And yeah, there is always that one spot that you miss. Always. And you tend to notice it at really inopportune moments like this. I'm just adding a little bit of glazing agent to this grey because it's a little bit thick. And something else that I'm finding is, I don't know if you noticed that I keep pulling the mini down this way. I'm pulling it closer to me. I think my natural, yeah, here is where I'd naturally paint. I'm going to move the webcam a bit. Like I said, this stream is going to be a lot of experimenting with the webcam just to make sure everything's actually more comfortable, because I don't want to get back pain, which is always bad. Okay. That's much better. Okay. I'm an awful person for not sitting in a healthy position when I'm painting, and then I get like terrible back pain and sit there wondering, whoa, what's happened? How did this happen to me? Oh my god. And then get reminded maybe it's because you sit like an idiot when you're painting. So I'm outlining all of the actual little natural shapes he has in the cast itself, because Tyranids are very, they have a lot of edges. And then when that's done, I'll start joining them up slightly to create the kind of mishmash swirly effect. Yeah, the pattern on the inside of the tail, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do there. See, what I was thinking about doing is, because see, the tail is so smooth. But what I was thinking of doing was get this part down. Get this lining down. Then I'm going to be glazing it down so it's not as bright. And then what I was thinking of doing was to get a darker grey and putting a lot of glazing agent into it so it becomes like a glaze, and then creating a kind of webbing everywhere, all over all of the in-between bits. So down the parts where it doesn't have a hard edge, it would still have patterning. It's kind of hard to describe, but like a kind of very, very faint web pattern over the whole thing. And it would help tie it together, because one of the things it's really hard to explain at the moment is that all of the blue on this guy is actually going to be really, really strongly striped pinstriping. That's the colour scheme. He has a pinstripe carapace, and when you see the pinstripe carapace next to all this like striping detailing all over his body, it makes sense and it works. It looks very odd right now because he's going to have this hyper detailed skin with all this like crazy striping on it and a really boring carapace, but in reality he's going to have, you know, that really, really, really busy looking carapace, so it'll suit a lot better, I think. But right now it just looks a bit strange. It's one of those ones where you have to just keep the final look in mind. Oh, and folks, I'm relying on you to let me know, by the way, if there's any problems with sound or video or anything, because I can't listen in myself. I can only keep everything on mute, and the video that I'm watching is the actual video recording that's coming from the camera, not the stream, because I want to be able to see the live video. I could probably sort out some music in the background as well. That'll be a bit better because I can't talk all the time. That'd be a bad idea. It's really down to what people want. I'm really just recording myself painting, so if there's anything that people would prefer in the background or anything, just let me know and I can put on something in the background. This is a really, really gorgeous figure, actually, considering it's entirely plastic. I mean, I still remember when the only option for a Tyranid was solid metal for anything bigger than a little termagant. And I had I was so bad. I'm still terrible at putting stuff together, and I was really terrible at putting them together when they were solid metal. So my entire army would just fall apart once a week, and then I'd glue it back together using wads and wads of super glue. So it was all lumpy and gross. Hmm. See, I'm starting to wonder if I should just turn off the autofocus and just try and set it at a set point focus. I'm not entirely sure if it's a better idea, or if I should just get better at my hand control so I'm not changing the focus as much. So many things to consider. I love how this goes, how it starts off looking, when you only have 5 or 6 lines, it looks so bad. And then as you start building up the actual patterning, you start getting a nicer effect with it. And that just continues. You could just go crazy with this. It's not exactly like an advanced technique or anything, it's just following the shape and adding more to it so you get something a bit more exciting. But you could go really, really crazy with it. I've seen some beautiful, beautiful figures that were almost entirely painted in just like little filigree lines. I don't have the time or the skill for that, to be honest, but I've seen some really, really lovely stuff. And this brush is actually losing its point a little bit, which is causing a few problems. The lines aren't actually very sharp. Um, I'll try and find some examples of like others I've seen that are using this kind of filigree look. But the thing is, like again, oh, it's hard to explain. When I take a photo of this afterwards, you'll be like, oh wow, that's not nearly as bright as it was in the video. Uh, because this light is really picking up this grey. This grey is not this bright. This grey is not nearly as contrasting as this at all. So in this video, this stuff looks like really, really, really bright. Come on, focus. Come on, buddy. It looks really, really bright, and it's not this bright at all. This is the this is almost entirely the camera. So it's not as strong an effect. I mean, it's pretty strong, but it's not this strong. And once it's glazed over, because I'll be doing, I don't know if you were here for earlier in it, but earlier in the video, but I'm going to be glazing this over to bring it down again, so it's way more subtle, and then I'll be re-highlighting parts with a brighter colour again to bring it up again, but just small parts. And that's going to look great, especially against the really, really heavy striping that the carapace is going to have. But right now it's not nearly there. This is just like the base layer, which is the most, always the most wonky looking. There's a great story behind this guy that I will tell as I paint. Years and years ago, I found a Carnifex in my cupboard. You know, that's a normal thing, just finding a Carnifex in your cupboard. And I thought, oh, a Carnifex, what's he doing here? I'm going to paint him. And I just gotten my airbrush, so I was really just learning how to use it and making a lot of mistakes. So I said to myself, oh, I'm going to try and paint this guy as fast as I can and see what kind of results I get. I spent about 3 hours on him. He was nice. He had grey skin with a little bit of a highlight. He had this lovely fade of the green all over his spiky bits. And then I pinstriped his shell, his carapace, and he was cool. But I didn't keep him because I had no reason to keep him, and I thought, hey, maybe someone will want to use him. So I put him up on eBay for like, I don't know, 20, 30 euro or something, and he sold. I shipped him off, and I thought that was the last I was ever going to hear of him. And then the owner who had bought him contacted me and said, I really, really, really like this scheme. And I said, wow, really? That's awesome. Thanks, man. It's just like a little fun experiment. And the owner said, could you paint me a, what was he? Oh, crap. Moloch. Could you paint me a Moloch in the same scheme? And I said, yeah, awesome. So I did. It's great fun. Sent it off. The owner was a really nice guy. I thought, alright, okay, guess that's it. Never going to hear from him again. He was a really nice person to work with. Bye bye. So cut to like 4 years later, maybe more, and I get a PM on my painting page from a guy called John Hickton, and he says, hey, so a couple of years ago I bought a Carnifex from you and a Moloch, and I was like, oh yeah, dude, I remember you, blah 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 blah. And he says, yeah, so I have a Hive fleet now. And he sent me to a YouTube channel of his Hive fleet. I've never seen such a huge Tyranid army. It is unbelievable. And the entire Hive fleet is using the scheme from that Carnifex. And I was in shock. I was like, I cannot believe this. This is insane. How did this happen? So I was so touched by it. I said, dude, send me any figure you want. I'd love to paint it up to match the Hive fleet again, and I'll send it back to you. So he sent me this, and he's letting me go in a bit crazy with it, which is cool. But yeah, I thought that was awesome. Hello. Is this not a common thing? I thought this was pretty common. People painting on streams. I was told it was. I'm just reading the comments. I don't know if you can tell, or if you could tell, that I'm a good painter considering the state of this. It looks so poor in this light, and my awful autofocusing. Thank you. Um, I wouldn't say I'm 40k specific because I'll paint anything. See, I don't actually play any of the games anymore. I used to, but now I just paint for fun. Because I realised that the only reason I was playing the games anyway was because I wanted to paint the figures. I actually find I think the War Machine figures are beautiful to paint. Oh my god, they're so gorgeous. What amazing designs they have. Okay, so see, this leg is getting quite ornamental now. That's what I'm going for. Oh my god, focus. So yeah, I mean the difference between, wow, this is really having trouble focus. You know what? I might turn off the autofocus. Let's see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? But yeah. So by bringing the leg up to getting, I mean, if you've been watching this from the start, you've seen that when you start doing this, it looks shite. It looks so bad. But as you push more and more detail, it starts getting quite nice looking. I'd say this leg is actually way more detailed now than this leg, so I'm going to push with this one a little bit more because I don't want one side of him to be like beautifully detailed and the other one to just be a bit boring. So I'm just going to add a few little extra bits on this side, and then I'm going to move on to the insides of the legs, which I've been dreading doing because, man, they are hard to reach. Kind of regret gluing them on. Wasn't thinking. I was thinking with the rest of him because I left that unglued by being clever, but apparently not clever enough to realise that painting inside his legs was going to be really, really tough. So yeah, I'm just trying to work out where to add a little bit more onto this without overpowering any of the other lines, because if you if you start putting them too close on one side, it'll just look like a blob of colour. It's not going to look like it's actual patterns. Does anyone here who paints, do you find that you hold the figures quite close to you? I'm surprised because I watch a lot of painting videos, like Painting Buddha, for instance. What an amazing channel. And I was really surprised to see how far away from their eyes they hold minis. I don't know how they do it. I mean, this is quite close to me. I even went out and bought a giant pair of really geeky looking reading glasses so that I could put them on and zoom in. Even though all my lamps have magnifier glasses in them, I was like, nah, I need actual glasses. This is too much hassle. Hi, Krugs. So what I'm doing with the carapace is, oh, of course, I can actually write in chat. I need to stop being an idiot. I'll go get you a link. So what I'm doing with the carapace is it's pinstriped, and on its own, that sounds really, really strange, but when you see the pinstripes against this filigree, it it works very well. Let me see if I can find a old image of it. I think I have one somewhere. In fact, I have an image of the original guy, the original Carnifex. Here he is. Now, just to stress that this guy is the guy I'm about to link in. He's really, really simple in comparison to this, because I painted him in about 3 hours. He was really, really simple. You'll see like the highlights are just boom, 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 done. They're really, really light. The reason that this guy is getting the filigree work is because he's kind of going to be a focal point for the army. A winged Hive Tyrant is, you know, like people notice that. Even though that this army is absolutely massive, this guy will be noticed. So I wanted to give it the extra filigree because it makes it look older. I think it makes it look like an older creature. Maybe I'm just talking out my bum, but that's how I feel. So I'll send the link in just a second. And you'll see the pinstriping. So the pinstriping on this is going to be way, way, way more detailed. It's going to be very strong actually, and very weathered. It's going to have lots of like little cracked bits. So that's the kind of look, and I think that's going to look really good. Just closing off those pages because I don't want to have too many open in case everything shuts down on this crappy little top. I keep threatening to turn off autofocus and then not doing it, so I'll threaten once more to turn off autofocus camera. Do you hear me? Come on. There we go. So yeah, that little Carnifex, that is the Carnifex, that's the first one. And then there's a lot more created. This guy's carapace will probably, well, I think I'm gonna do the pinstriping with the purple again, but I'm also gonna be using a lot of glazes to alter the color. So the base is a very navy blue, but I want like the recesses to be more purpley. That's what I love about Tyranids. You can do absolutely anything. Nothing is wrong, you know? I used to get berated for, like, I'd say, oh, I want to paint a Space Marine, and I'd pick him up, and I'd like, he'd be a chaplain, and I didn't know he was a chaplain, and then I'd paint him the wrong colour, and people were like, oh, you can't have a blue chaplain, and I'm like, look, I appreciate the lore, but I just wanted to paint a little man. But with Tyranids, this can't happen, really. He can be polka dot pink, and you can irritate people with it, but you're not wrong. I like it, yeah. Paint the Tyranid like an ultramarine, armor and all, and see what happens. It's just part of a gene stealer cult. It's fine, it's fine. Oh, I know exactly the one that you're talking about. Is they were purple and pink and green, I think. And oh my god. Like, I remember when I first saw those, I thought to myself, I think I know how this guy is painting them, but there's no way he's doing that, because that is too time consuming. He must be doing something different. And then he showed a tutorial of how he did it, and it was exactly how I thought he was doing it, and I don't understand how anyone could have the time. It was just like, what? Deleted link. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that something I can change? The no link allowed? I bet it is. Let me, I'll sort that out for the next stream. I don't want to stop now. Nerd was indeed his name. You're right, Nerds Nids. I can't actually see a way to. I think I have to do, allow links from within my profile, guys. Sorry, I can't do that right now, but I'll do it for the next one. I think Twitch automatically has links disabled in case naughty people come in and post naughty links. Can't be having that. I know someone who did that for a screamer. That's why I'm laughing. He primed it white and then painted a rainbow on his tongue really quickly and then licked it, and it was beautiful. It was like, wow. Oh, of course. I just realised who you are. Yep, good times. Yeah, sorry about the links, guys. I think it's because just when I set up this channel, I used all the default settings, and one of them is no linkies. Except for me, I seem to be able to send them, which is great. I can just spam you guys with crap. I've got the power. Okay, so this leg is really getting there now. And there's way it's catching up to the detail of the other one. My little Tyranids, oh god, are they painted in the Friendship is Magic colours? I can see that happening. I can really see that happening, which is concerning. No, that's too shit. Oh yeah, swearing's totally cool in here. You can have a swear club. As long as it's mildly polite swearing. Like poop. Okay. Tyranids can't have hair. What's this? This isn't allowed. I think the best homegrown scheme that I remember that really took off were the Angry Marines. If people remember the Angry Marines, oh my god, they were amazing. I'd love to paint some with really rude banners. So people, you might have noticed that there's no rhyme or reason to this at all. When I'm doing this, it's just a case of I get the outlines of the sections done, and then I just start adding like little swirly details. It's not meant to match on either side or anything. It's just, you know, whatever looks good. Because at the end of the day, I'm this is a freebie. I'm not selling this or anything. This is just like for the owner as a little gift. So, no, you know, I'm not gonna cheap it out, but I'm also not gonna spend 90 hours on it. Yeah, freestyling. But I hope you guys can kind of agree that the more of this you put on, the more it starts to look normal. When it's only a couple of lines or it's only in one place, it looks really bad. But as it progresses, then it starts really, like, even when I link these two up and you start seeing it against the body, it works really well. Woo, this. But I'm actually really looking forward to starting on the carapace because I love painting stripes so much. Oh, that's all I want to do is paint some stripes and spots. Stripes and spots. Oh man, if I could put some spots in this, oh, maybe I will. No. Gotta rein it in. Come on now. Exoskeleton-y, yes. Nids have a very, very, shall we say, oh my god, this camera. Nids have a very, very slight, oh man, sorry, I'm getting really frustrated. They have a very, very slight closeness to another extraterrestrial species that's large and covered in spines with a carapace. And I think that they, you know, painting on an exoskeleton like that would really, really, really look good. I could consider the polka dot suggestion. Listen, a couple of years ago I got a commission, which is the best thing in the world. Oh my god. The guy just said, hey, Iffy, here's the story. I have so many squigs. I have an army of squigs. I've got manglers. I've got squig riders. I've just got squig herders. Everything. Listen, will you paint these any way you want? And I said, are you serious? Any way I want. And he said, yes. And every one of those squigs, polka dot squigs, ladybug squigs, zebra squigs, squig that looked like a big mushroom. Oh man, that was the most fun I've ever had, and a lot of them were polka dots. And there was a, oh, what's his name? There was a beautiful orc shaman figure with a cloak made out of feathers. I remember, oh, not feathers, a cloak made out of stitched skins and a big feather headdress. And he came with it as well, and I was allowed to paint him any way I wanted, and I painted him multicolours. And the whole army was just the most colourful, ridiculous thing. And that's what I'm all about. If I had my way, everything would be stripes and spots and colours. I actually started painting my own very small, well, it was meant to be a full Tyranid army, but I left my job during it, so it kind of got cancelled. But I started painting my own army a while ago of Tyranids, and they were all electric reds and greens and blues, and they were all of them looked like little tiny birds of paradise or something that lives in a forest, and they're great. I don't understand why. I know 40k is grimdark. I know. But you know, you can really go crazy with colours sometimes and get some very interesting effects. You can see painting the inside of this leg is really tough. I can't really see what I'm doing, so I'm winging it. Yes, I am indeed. I was a backer on the Kickstarter, and I'm extremely excited about painting those. I was thinking something that they could be used for really, really well if you had a lot of money. You could make an amazing chess set out of a couple of boxes. Like a really, really amazing. Oh, this camera, really, really amazing chess set. But I think the Solaire figure is gonna be mine. If I'm selling on the rest, he's staying with me no matter what. He'll be my little mascot from now on. I'm shocked by the quality of the figures. I really am. I thought the dancer was amazing looking. I mean, she's pretty big as well. They're not small figures. I didn't get any of the expansions because there's some really nice expansions for like I think the Hungering Dragon is there, or whatever his name was, the guy who was like split open. I just got the regular backers set, so I got all the regular figures. Gaping Dragon, that's his name. Okay. Come on. Ugh. So strange, the autofocus. Okay. So I'd say the legs are done. I don't really want to push them any further because they'll be very over the top. I'm gonna bring them down with some bring them down with a glaze later on, so they're not as bright as well, because they're very, very bright. Not as bright as they're showing in the recording, because my white balance has to be up so high to get a decent shot. But they're still very bright. Okay, so I'm gonna just stop on that for now and then go back onto this and have a drink of my freezing cold coffee. I see. Okay, it's got a little bit of blue tack. Curse these gloves. Where's my weird little, this guy? Come here. Oh man, I'm really, really having a bad time. Come on, yeah. Blue tack is great. These gloves really are not doing well. Blue tack. Foiled yet again. Come here. Come here. This is a great tool. It's called the pokey stick. It's for poking. Don't know where I got that. I think it's yeah, another. I was saying in my last stream. I don't know how many, if any of you were in the last stream, but a lot of the tools I use are like from cheap makeup kits, because why not? So instead of like buying more expensive any kind of modeling tool, I just get little like nail file kits that come in all these things. They work just as well. Why not? Oh, yeah, it's Mr. Pointy. No, not Mr. Pointy. Crap, what did I just call it? I've already forgotten. Ugh. Eh. Hello, Wizrobe. 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 Yeah. My greatest weakness is painting anything circular. I swear to God, I can't. Ah, there we go. Shaky Spear. The make of brushes that I use in general would be the Winsor Newton Series 7s, which are the workhorse that I use. These things are, oh god, they last so long if you take care of them. Now I usually have like 5 or 6 going at a time, and I kind of keep them. Like this one is probably about 4 months old. Let me see if I can get you up closer. And it's not in the best condition. I mean, it needs a deep clean, but you can see the point on it is still really decent. Um, the point on it is still really decent, and if you really take care of it with this kind of brush cleaner, which I can't recommend enough, they last a long time. I use size zeros in general, but I have a large size 1 that I use. Weirdly enough, I use the size 1 for extreme detail work because it has such a beautiful point. And then I have a couple of very small ones. You don't really, to be honest, I very rarely use them. It's like, oh, I need to paint a dot on an eye. I'll get out my 00. Not really needed. And then the rest of the brushes I use, are like, if I'm not using a detail brush, which is always a Series 7, I'm using something like this from a pound store, like a Euro store, a really cheap piece of crap, because if you're painting, big, chunky bits, you don't need to be using an expensive brush. I also use a lot of, having gone back to it again, brushes you get in makeup kits and really cheap nail kits, like these nice fan brushes and stuff. I mean, these brushes cost nothing because the kits are so cheap, and these are, you only use them 4 or 5 times and throw them away. So what I'd say is, for your detail brushes, for the brushes you use a lot, always go for a really good brand like Winsor Newton, Rosemary and Co. do a really good sable brush, but you always go for a sable. I know it's not that great because it is fur, but at the end of the day, no synthetic can come close to the sable brushes, and it's a shame. I really, really wish they could make a bloody synthetic that wasn't crap. But all synthetics suffer the same problems, where they all hook, they all curve, and they all split after a while. You just can't get a synthetic that will hold a detail point for that long. So because I'm not, like, I don't like the fact that I'm buying a fur brush, I try and really take care of these so they last as long as I can. I mean, sable fur isn't, they don't kill a sable. Sable is like a kind of weasel. They don't kill the sable, but they take the fur from its tail to make the sable brushes. So I'm pretty sure the little guy would much prefer to not have his tail fur plucked. So I keep that in mind. Try and treat the brushes with respect. I'd rather not have to use them, but they really are the only option. Ooh. Look, no. I have bad opinions on synths, but not like brotherhood levels of bad opinions, so don't be lumping me in there. Oh, hang on, I'm trying to answer everything. Uh, Guilherme, wonder who you are. It totally depends how long something takes. Totally just depends on the figure. To be honest, I mean, this I'm going crazy with. Normally, I would do regular highlights, not highlights that are you know, all these little filigree lines. But this is both an experiment and for fun. I love doing things that I haven't done before. If you guys have seen my the Wraith Knight that I'm still working on, I'm doing them really slowly because I refuse to paint him unless I'm completely in the mood. But I've never painted anything like that before. He's really unique and I'm learning a lot from him. But he's also taken so many hours of my life so far that people would think me a bit mad if they're not into the hobby. Actually, I'm just wondering, I hope the sound is being pulled from my laptop and not from my camera. Because if it's from my camera, you can probably hear me breathing into it, which is a bit gross. Let me know if it is, and I'll change that around. Don't want to be grossing people out. Snorting into a microphone. So you can see the build up on this. Just little patterns over and over again. I'm outlining the actual details in the figure, but then I'm adding in little lines in between, little shapes. Okay, thanks for telling me. Oh yeah, and thanks for the insult. Yeah, great, cool. My breathing's beautiful. The camera is focusing on this a lot better. I think the problem is that the body that I was painting and the legs, it's not flat surface. It was like tilted up this way, so the camera was like, what do I focus on? This bit down here. But when it's flat like this, it seems to be having a much better time focusing. I can bring it up really close there, and you'll get. So you see, they're not actually that neat. But then again, when you bring any painting up to your eyeballs, it's not that neat. But from the distance that you would view it at, normally it looks really good, and it's definitely going to get neater as I clean it up. This is just like the base shapes. Also, I need to be aware that what I'm painting here is mostly going to be covered up by the wings and the arms because I'm painting in the sockets, so I need to like calm down and move away from that. That's being silly. It's a bad habit to not pay attention and like keep painting an area. It's going to be covered up anyway. That's silly Billy. Don't do that. Did I make a pun? Oh. Oh man, that's bad. That was a oh, and yeah, I laughed. Shit. Oh, you win. You win this round by making me laugh. Fauna is such an old name. I've been using that for a long time. Aw. I've been using that name a long, long time. Back from when I first started playing World of Warcraft with Braxton. And everyone knew me as Iffy. And then that kind of progressed when I started playing Torrens. Changed to Iffy Moo, because I was playing cows. Flannel. Ifalna. Flannel, just in general. So many names. Okay, so that side's about done now. I'm gonna. Oh, no, it's not. Space Wolf friend in real life. Are you an actual space wolf? How can you type with such giant marine hands? Okay, so those sides are, this I can do a little bit more detailing and then it's done. I'm starting the front. A beardy man. This is all, it's all very it's all very suspicious because I'm positive I know quite a few of you. It's like, curse these names. Okay. So yeah, I don't want to go too crazy. A beardy space wolf man with Arjak. Yeah, okay, I think I know who you are. Thank you for dropping in. Go back to work. I'm allowed to do this because I'm not working today. I've got to work the long weekend though. Ugh. Phenomenal jokes. Are they phenomenal jokes that are forced upon me every 2 months? And when I try and tell people that this happens, they don't believe me. I'm actually really looking forward to taking a photo of this guy when he's finished this session anyway, so people can see what I mean about how the colours really aren't as bright as they're coming out here. I mean, he's bright, but he's, looking at the video, it's crazy. It's like the lines look like they're pure white. They ain't. Okay. going. You can probably see that his his rib cage is surprisingly green. The reason his rib cage is surprisingly green is because I didn't mask it off properly when I was airbrushing on his little biblies. I don't know what to call them, biblies. So I got a lot of spray. So I'm going to try and hide that with quite a lot of this line detailing. Because the problem is, because the base of his skin was airbrushed, if I was to paint over that, it would look really obvious. So this is the better option. Okay, it looks much better. Can't really see as much of the terrible green. It's still there, but I'm cheeky and hiding it. These brushes are capable of such detail, absolutely fantastic. Little tiny lines. Okay. Oh, dude! Fredox, thank you for that. That was my little fantasy army. I was making a full spider army. I had a beautiful. I don't know if you've seen her, but there was a really nice Arachnarok. She was painted like a giant black widow, so she was just pure black. She's what my profile image is of her eyes. And I spent so long making the little forest bases, and then I had to go work full time. See, I was working in a hobby store. It was amazing. And when I went to work full time, I stopped painting for like 2 years. Oh, come on. I stopped painting for about 2 years because I just was completely demotivated, I guess, and a bit depressed. Yeah, I hear Age of Sigmar is, yeah. I hear it kind of caused a lot of suffering for fantasy players. Although, from what I've heard, like I don't play it or anything, but from what I've heard, it's literally a different game. It's not like you're playing fantasy anymore. You're playing something totally new and different. Heyo, Kato Kim. Okay. What I'm going to do just really quickly is just compare this with the body, because that's how you can tell if it's working. Yeah. I'm painting with gloves for one good reason and one bad reason. Good reason is even with ridiculously clean hands, you get oil all over a miniature, which seems like it's not that big a problem, unless you are doing airbrushing or you're using a paint that isn't, oh, come on, using a paint that isn't fantastically good at adhering. Oh my god, I can't talk. Isn't that adhesive? And you can slough off. It's a lot of the time when you get like little dusty bits of paint that have come off and you're like, what, that happened? It's because you painted it over a little bit of oil from your finger. And you won't notice, like, it's not that your hands are dirty, it's just we all do it, we all create oil. And the bad reason is because I hate what my hands look like. So this is like, I'm masking them and they're hidden. My horrible secret. Okay. So what I'm going back into now is the part I keep forgetting about, which is this little chunk, his thorax, I guess. I'm not a robot. I can do captchas anytime, believe me. I understand all of your human emotions. So this is just a super quick little wavy lines here that I'm going to join up. The camera I'm using, if I think you're relatively new to this stream, I've been complaining about it non-stop. The camera I'm using is a Microsoft Lifecam Cinema, I think. It's a really, really good webcam, but the problem is I'm using a Mac, which is a piece of shit, and doesn't have any kind of webcam settings. It can't interact with the webcam properly. So the camera is having big trouble working out how to autofocus because it doesn't have proper drivers. Because Macs, you know. Oh yeah, what Fredox just said about metal. Oh man, yeah, you really, really notice the oil when you're working with metal. Way more than you would with plastic. But for me, it's just like a habit, and I like it because I know that I'm keeping the mini clean. If I was painting this for myself, I'd be like sneezing on it. I wouldn't care. But I was sending it away, so I don't want it to be gross. With this webcam, I could set it to autofocus, which I've also mentioned and threatened many times. And if it's set to autofocus, it would be much better for one way because it would be set to a predetermined depth. So like I could autofocus it at this depth. But with this figure, if I set it to autofocus, it's a really bad idea because I'm painting this figure like this, I'm painting this figure like this, I'm painting it at all these different angles. So it's able to kind of focus better with it like this. If I was painting something that was flat, I could leave it to a manual focus and it would work fine. But because I'm not, I can't really do that because I'd have to refocus it every 2 seconds while I move the figure around because it's so tall. If it was a little tiny mini, that'd be fine, but it ain't. So just gonna keep going. Yes. Outlining these little bits. I'm really happy that people are chatting, by the way. This is great. It was the main thing I was hoping for by doing the live stream. Because if I'm incredibly honest, I talk to myself non-stop when I'm painting anyway. Which is a bit weird. But now I've got people to talk to, which is nice. I am very much so from Dublin. Super dub. So I'm actually just going to put his abdomen back on just for a second, because what I mentioned earlier about having a bad habit of painting where I don't need to paint at all. Let's just make sure. Oh yeah, I'm doing that again. Okay, time to stop. I had to say it twice because I'm dub squared. I could have made a really bad joke there and said I need to say it twice because I'm from D2, but you'd have to be from Dublin to get that. You don't know. You don't know my sordid past. So I have to be very careful with this little bit I'm painting now because it goes right down into his stomach. And then it needs to be quite neat. A lot of the lines I'm doing at the moment don't really need to be that neat because they're just for creating contrasting. But this does, so I'm just going to angle a little bit strangely so I can get right in here. There we go. I remember that. That was the birthday where I brought a watermelon into Games Workshop, and all of the staff were incredibly hungover. And one of them, who was lying under the table at the time, lying under one of the gaming tables while a load of children played on it, said he had a knife he could use to go open the watermelon with. So he went into the back room of Games Workshop and he came out with one of the replicas of Archaon's sword, still drunk, and wandered through the shop filled with children on a weekend with this giant sword, and then slammed it down on the watermelon in the middle of the table. It was surreal. In fact, all of the time I spent in that store was surreal. sometimes I have to like question myself, did that actually happen? But then I ask someone who was there and they're like, yeah, no, that did happen. That was real. Maybe Games Workshop is different in Ireland than it is elsewhere. It's a wonderful place here, or was anyway, back in the days when I used to be there every weekend. I remember when the staff had tried to make a new gaming board and in the store and had used a blowtorch on some fiberglass and filled the entire store with like really noxious fumes, but they weren't allowed to close the store. Come on, focus. They weren't allowed to close the store, so they had to like leave it open, but they just couldn't let anyone in, and they left all the doors open so the fumes would leave, but all the staff were still in it, so you could see them in the background like rolling around on the floor laughing because they were off their faces from the fumes. Amazing. Don't know how that place stayed open. I think it was the Mordheim board actually, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Katakim, I didn't reply to you. Sorry, I didn't see that message. My Huey camera that I got, it's absolutely fine. You could definitely use it for this kind of thing. It doesn't have any form of autofocus. So for a model like this, once again, we're moving it all the time and it's not flat, it wouldn't be great. This camera I'm using is great for this. For other things, like if I was painting the wing right now, I could use the Hui because it's flat. But because this guy isn't flat and I'm turning him so much, I kind of, if I didn't have the autofocus, even though it's not great, if I didn't have that, I'd be like having to refocus every 2 seconds, and it would get really frustrating for everyone. So. It's a great little camera though. I got it the Hui. I got it for about €20, including delivery. So I can't really say anything bad about it. I might use it in the future if I'm doing anything where I need a second camera set up. Like if I was showing my palette, showing blends and stuff like that, then I could use the little Hui there. That'd be cool. Have video within video. I hear all the cool kids are doing that. Oh, you ordered one? Cool. Well, let me know how yours goes as well, because I found it very easy to use. but I just found that for what I was doing today, like, it wouldn't work great because of its lack of focus, autofocus. But they're very, very cheap, very cheerful. If you are interested in the one I'm currently using, just drop me a PM on my painting page and I'll give you a link to it on eBay and Amazon and everything. It's not expensive. It's an older Lifecam. I think they work out at about $30. So for stuff where you'd need it to autofocus, or you just want a little bit more control, because then again, see, I'm using the Hui on a Mac, so I don't have any of its functions. If you're using it on PC, you'll have way more functions, because it comes with a little installation disk. Yeah, tell me. As soon as you have it set up, let me know and I'll come watch. Just putting more little fine lines on this abdomen because he's gonna, so much of this is gonna be covered up. I know it's really bright right now, but like so much of this is gonna be covered when I glaze it. I need to keep reminding people this is actually just the first layer. Oh, it's the first layer. So there's this, bringing it down to a much darker tone using the glazes, then re-highlighting little points with the same grey again. So you're actually watching the messy part. This is the messy part where it's just getting some lines down. Then comes the glaze, then comes the detail cleanup. So don't judge me because this is a wee bit messy. Spray painting stream. I think there could be. I think the problem, like, for any kind of, like, are you talking about airbrushing or like spray painting from a can? Because either one, I'm positive you could find an audience for it. I mean, there's people right now watching me painting in silence. So you guys are crazy. And if there's an audience for this, there's an audience for anything else. It's funny, the camera seems to be really focusing in on my fingers. and not the figure. A bit odd. Maybe it's the blue. I'll change to some white gloves after this, actually. You painted. Cool. That's cool. Gotta go. That's not cool. What else? That's uncool. Cool people aren't working right now. What are you what are you painting, Catechin? Praxiphen, that's exactly what people said to me. I said, I was like, why would anyone want to watch me spending 50 hours doing little crappy lines on something? And oh, come on, camera. And people said, well, they do it, you know, when they're working or when they just need something on in the background. That kind of makes sense. The Silver Tower box. I've heard that's really great. A lot of people have been posting about it, and I've been like, ooh, that's great. Evil Gilmore. We can't all multitask that well. I mean, I can. Sorry for your English. Your English is perfect. I'm apologising. The only language I speak is English, and I barely speak it, so I'm always in awe of people who speak more than one language. Okay. I'm actually getting really annoyed by how bright this is, so I'm gonna... Oh, should I take a minute to glaze it down now, I wonder? I'm worried that if I glaze it down now, what's gonna happen is it'll look different. It's a kind of thing that I need to do all at once, to keep a nice coherent look. If I do it bit by bit, it's gonna end up looking all totally different. So no, I'll just stick with it. It's a bit garish, it's a bit strong at the moment, but I'll stick with it and I'll do all the glazing at once. Actually, if you just give me a second, folks, I'm just gonna quickly grab some fruit, a little snack, and just quickly update my pages. I think the majority of my Tumblr followers are asleep. I think it's a bit early. I'm going to keep updating it throughout the day just to let people know that I'm streaming though, because I do plan on streaming for quite a while today, because it's my only day off. I want to get as much of this done. I want to get all of the skin done today, and then the glaze, so to bring it down that level, so it's lovely. But you know what's going to be really fun is getting the that skin effect done on the grey parts of the wings. I think that skin effect against the grey parts of the wings is going to be lovely. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, I'll be back in 2 seconds. I just need to get a drink and get some grapes. You can all listen to me chomping on grapes. Okay, back. Sorry for that delay there. Just had to grab some stuff. I have to laugh, considering how many pets I have. This is going amazingly well for lack of interruptions and lack of shouting beasts. It's going very well. I've probably jinxed it by saying that. Yes, I'm working all weekend. I really wish I wasn't, considering that it's a bank holiday weekend. I could have had a bit of time to go do nice things outside like a regular person, but no. So I'm working all weekend. Hello, Bridisso! Hello. If I know you, please let me know who you are, because it's taken me way too long to realise who people are. I'm not intelligent. I'm just adding a little bit more glazing agent to the grey. just to keep it, because it's I want that slight transparency to it anyway. Okay. Gregory, hello, good sir. I am streaming like a complete and utter noob. I'll have you know. No idea what's going on. No idea. Just going with the flow. Continuing on this underside now. Now that I have my grapes, I'm re-energized. Thank you. I've had a lot of trouble. I'm using one of the work Macs because I can't really do this from my PC, and the amount of hassle I've had to try and get it to recognize the webcam, to be able to use any of the webcam settings, still not great. This is a fantastic webcam and the quality isn't shown that well. It's a bit of a shame, but definitely better than nothing, that's for sure. Oh, I'm glad it's not terrible. It's I think it's more that I know how good it can be, so I'm like, oh goddamn. Catechism, that's cool. Tutorials are really, I think a lot of people really appreciate them because everyone has their own way of painting, firstly, and you know, we all make assumptions that other people paint the same way as us or know what we're talking about. So when you make a video tutorial, instead of, you know, making those assumptions, you're really showing someone exactly how you do it, and it's really cool, and people really like it. So good on you for doing that. Especially because so many people who are, oh, okay, this may, I don't mean for this to sound bad, but so many people who are just starting off in the hobby start off with ultramarines. So it's a nice army to choose to do tutorial on as well, because a lot of newer people start off with ultramarines and are looking for tutorials. So Cool, that's exactly what people are going to be looking for. A nice finish that they can achieve that looks good on tabletop. There's so many tutorials out there for really advanced techniques, like really advanced techniques. Painting Buddha is amazing for showing stuff like two brush blending, brush loading, and color science, and a lot of things that people are looking for tutorials on. But when you're just starting out, none of that means anything to you. You're like, what? What does any of this mean? You just want to know the basics of how to paint. And I don't think there really are enough guides out there that just show people the basics they need to know, that they can then improve on if they want, so they don't feel so overwhelmed. Because it's very overwhelming to get into this hobby, very overwhelming. If anyone can remember what it was like to go and buy their first, going to buy their first few paints and just being like, oh my god, what do I buy? There's so many colours, there's so many kinds of brushes. It's very, very overwhelming. I think I did see them. Tell you what though, why don't you send me on, come on, focus, camera. Why don't you send me a link to them on my mini page as a private message, and then I'll when you do your tutorial, let me know, and I'll share it on my mini page as well for you, so that more people get to see it. Not that I have a massive following or anything, but like, you know, every bit helps. Laurie's girl, who's this? Do I know you? Are you a girl who belongs to Laurie? Are you a female slow Loris? I need to know. I'm getting really close to this. I'm getting really, really close to this, and I'm going to stick my nose in. I'm a bit worried. My nose shouldn't be on this camera. It's gross. Kadokim, yeah, send me a private message on my painting page with a link to your ultramarines, and I'll share it. And when you do your your tutorial, send it to me as well, and I'll share it as well, because I know a lot of people would really appreciate it. Umbral enamels, oh my god. You know, I think that's actually before my time, which is something I didn't think I'd say. But Jesus, I remember like my first I still have some. Hang on. Here we go. So the glut of my old paints are all old Citadel paints that I bought in this huge box. It's actually a big metal suitcase they came in, but they were all, you know, these lovely Citadel colour pots, these guys. So I have all these gorgeous inks still that you can't get anymore from Games Workshop, which is a shame because these are beautiful. Oh my god. So that's when I started. Would have been these pots, or do you remember the ones that were plastic with a little white cap? Those ones. That was when I started a long time ago. And I remember the very first model I painted was a skeleton. And I painted him black, and then I dry brushed him white, and then I put some red on his sword because it was blood. And I was so proud of him. So I remember being really like going in to buy actual paints and being like, oh my god, there's so many, what do I do? Also, they were so expensive. Um, like back then, I think they were still about £3. The hex top ones are the ones that I remember from when the very first models I painted were hex top. And Morse Finec, I am indeed using Winsor Newton 7s. I talked about them earlier today. The Series 7s, the art ones, so they've got the long, like this is a size 0. Come on, focus. This is size 0 and it has the long. Oh my god! It's having none of it, guys. There we go. This is the long one. Now, I said earlier as well, I've been painting with this one for about 4 months. It's starting to lose its tip. And when when the Series 7s lose their tips, it's not because they're splaying, it's because you have literally grinded the tip off by rubbing it against plastic, which is unbelievable. So when this loses its tip, it goes into my backup pile of Series 7s, which I use for like, not for detail work, just for splashing on paint. And then I'll take out a new one with a fresh tip. For everything else that's not detail work, I use generic brushes. I do not pay for good brushes for dry brushing. I think it's insane. Laurie's girl, that's so cute. Thank you. I just saw that notice now. As you can see, even when I'm off, I'm still working. I think most people's first minis might have been a skeleton or a dwarf or a goblin or a space marine, of course. I think they were always the first ones. I was just very lucky because people were very, very kind to me when I first started, because I was only about, I think I was 17, and really quite shy actually in a way that people didn't expect. And when I first started going into Games Workshop, I was very intimidated by all these teenage boys. They're actually really, really kind. So I got a lot of help and nice community there. Oh, see ya, Majalis. Talk to you later anyway. I think if I hadn't have had that kind of really nice reception when I first started painting and going into the store, I probably would have stopped. So always be nice to new starters, guys. Always be kind. It's always a shame that you can turn someone off what could be a lifelong hobby with bad first impressions of it. Okay. Calikim, that's great. I'll share that for you later on. I just don't want to take a break while I'm doing this, but I will indeed. I'm trying to make sure I reply to everyone. So if I don't reply to you and you said something like 5 minutes ago, just say it again, because I might just have missed it. I'm not ignoring you, I promise. Well, no problem, Cardigan. I mean, we should all be helping each other out. If everyone's a painter, it's everyone's hobby. I won't ignore you. Unless you're talking shite. Oh, I'm moving off camera there. Oops. Professional shite talker. I think I said this earlier that you can see me creeping back like this, and like as I paint and talk, I'm slowly disappearing off the screen. It's because I paint very close to my body, and because like for instance, okay, so I'm not, you know, like I'm not leaning on anything, and I can hold figures pretty still, and it's because I have my arms up against my torso. So that's how I paint. So doing this live stream has been really interesting because it's showed me uh, that the way I paint, like I've never paid attention to how close to my body I actually hold the figures. Now I have to. Now I realize it's interesting. Oh, I just banged my head off my lamp. God, I'm failing today, guys. Thank God the camera wasn't attached to that. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to keep reaching over, by the way. In order to make sure the camera had decent light, it has to be on my right. Normally that's where I'd have my palette. So my palette's over on the left and I have to keep reaching over to it. Okay. Okay, so his pelvis is looking nice now. It's got a lot of shaping. Slowly getting there. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Yeah, that FedEx that works really well too. Like I'm bracing my I can't even think of the word. Arms, I guess. My forearms. There you go. Bracing those on the edge of the table to stop the shaking as well. Um, but how I would normally paint, I can't show you on camera because I would sit back and I would hold the model up tight against my chest and brace it there and paint like that. Which is a really bad idea because that's how you get really bad back strain. So that's what I'm actually trying to I'm trying to train myself out of doing that. So this live streaming is really helping because it's forcing me to not. It's forcing me to sit like a normal human being. Well, relatively normal human being. Okay. I need to focus more on the inside of these legs. They're not really close to the same level as everything else. Just get into a nice position. Hmm. The problem, I can't remember, someone mentioned it earlier as well. Someone noticed the problem is with this design, the tail is a big problem. There are no defining shapes on that tail. It's just smooth. So getting that kind of detail on, I don't know, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I don't want to force like detail onto it that isn't actually there. It's a bad idea. But do so. And I'm just fixing a mistake I made there. Quick, before it dries. I don't think I have a category. Let me have a look. I don't even know how to add one if I'm honest. Edit. Edit has title, playing, and broadcast language, and that's it. I don't really know where I can add one. Also, did my... Oh wait, I think it paused for me because I hit edit. I'm being dumb. Hang on, let me just reload. Creative one in my Twitch dashboard. Okay, give me 2 secs and I'll have a look. Where is the Twitch dashboard? Is that it? Where it says me? Dashboard. It's happening. No, I don't see anything there. I just have titled this broadcast, and I can choose what I'm playing, but I'm obviously not playing anything. They're the only things that are showing in my dash. Ooh, title it actually. No, I literally only have titled this broadcast. The category section may only show up if I say that I'm playing something. Let me have a look. No. Oh, I see. Duh. I see. Okay. It just keeps saying error updating broadcast. Oh, why? I think I'm just gonna have to leave it for now. It just keeps saying error updating broadcast. So let's ignore this and go back to actually painting because I'm failing. I still maintain that a lot of the problems I have are down to this fucking Mac. Rage. Oh yeah, so what? Oh shite. Someone, sorry, I think I just reset some of the chat there because I reloaded, but someone mentioned the skin. The idea for the skin is just a carapace, really, and you know the Xeno carapaces tend to be very, very detailed. So I thought I'd just go ahead and try that out. It's looking, I think it will look very nice when it's finished because this is still super early days. It's got a lot of work to go. I'm surprised I thought the chat would get saved, but it resets if you reload the page, so I've lost all the original chat. That's really frustrating. Why'd you do this to me, Craig? This is your fault. Making me edit stuff. God! Forcing me to edit things. Oh! Hi, you. And thank you very much. I'm glad it's looking good. So far, anyway, it's going okay. So I was saying earlier, it's a very, very strange way of. It's a very strange way of painting because you start off and, you know, the longer you spend on it, the more detailed it becomes and the better it looks. But when you start off and it's just these big ugly lines, it looks horrible. So you just gotta keep going. Gotta believe in yourself. Gotta believe. They were earlier, you missed it. Cloud was having a little shout. I had to go and throw him out a window. He's gone now, by the way. He's dead. I ended him. Actually, I have to say, I was really surprised. I'm unhappy with the reception Cloud's meow got. Cloud meowed, and people were like, "Oh, it's a cat, yeah!" It's like, no, please don't motivate him. I'd say life has improved 25% with one gone. Okay. So, sorry, I'm doing it again. I'm just slowly pulling this off camera. I'll move closer. There we go. Oh no, I'm too close. Oh, why is this so hard? Catechin, work her into the video. Be like, this is a guest star. Mention her name. That's what I thought I was going to have to do. Be like, oh, these are my guest star, Cloud. He's going to shout non-stop. Cat in every stream. Yeah. A cat on every table. A cat in every stream. Oh, why did I glue these legs on? Oh, I shouldn't have done this. I'm so glad you're all here to witness my failure. This will make sure I don't forget this in the future. Do not glue on legs, you cannot reach the bits. Although in fairness, I hadn't actually decided that I was doing this scheme when I glued on the legs. I was just going to do basic highlights. This is so much nicer though. if anyone was here for the last stream. It's great. It's like I get to publicly fail now instead of failing privately where no one knows about it. In the last stream, I realised that I had done the membranes on the wings the wrong way because I had masked. I'd painted the grey with the airbrush first and then masked off the grey to paint on the green, and I really should have done it the other way. It was a real learning experience there. Because by doing it the other way, I would have it would have been so much easier to paint the green first and mask it off, but I didn't. So I learned a big lesson there about airbrush masking. So yeah, you can see like this starts, I know I keep saying it, it's just I love stressing it. This starts off looking so bad, and as you continue with more and more detail and it becomes like really, really detailed, it starts working. The problem is when parts of it aren't detailed. So when you've got like, you know, when you're just starting it off, it really doesn't work. But as it progresses, it's like, oh wow, hang on, that's looking functional now, and I love that. There's a term for it. I've forgotten what the term is. It's like one of the other. Sorry, I have my paintbrush in my mouth. One of the other times this will happen is when you have airbrushed something, and you've airbrushed it from the start, and it's all one colour because you've airbrushed the whole thing, and then you go ahead and you black it off. So blacking it off is when you've airbrushed something and it's like the colour is all over the base, the colour is everywhere, and you black it off by cleaning all that up. You black off the base, you black off all the areas the airbrush shouldn't have been there, and suddenly you reveal the miniature, you suddenly see the colours and you see what it was you were painting, and it's an amazing moment. And this is kind of the same. You reach a point with this where all of a sudden you go, oh, the idea I had in my mind is now starting to show. And that's such a lovely point. That's my favourite point of painting. Because I have some weird ideas and I have no basis for them. I just go with it, and I just like, okay, I have to trust myself that this is going to turn out the way I imagine it's going to. And this is getting there now. And it's gonna get better as it continues. It was the same with my Wraith Knight, because I painted him to look like space. Oh man. Like, he took so many layers, and each layer I was putting on, he was just getting that little bit closer to looking the way I had imagined he was going to. So when he eventually reached that point, it was just wonderful. I'm sure the same thing can be said for most kinds of art, especially sculpting. You know, like the form is in your brain, but you've got to pull it out of the media you're using. See you, Crispy. I'll see you in a bit. Enjoy worky. Are there any people watching this, by the way, who don't paint at all and are just like, what the hell is going on? I'm sure there are. Well, you're getting an idea now of how long this takes. I think when you see a finished model, you're like, oh yeah, that looks nice. And it doesn't really click how long they take. So you guys are probably seeing the horrible reality of miniature painting. And this is like step 1 of 20. I'm gonna die. Guys, painting is painting. And assembling is assembling, it's all the same thing. If you put stuff together, then you understand the pain of putting this together. And if you paint anything else, then you understand the pain of painting this. Oh, you do mostly batch work, do you, Ferox? I have a bit of a soft spot for batch work, I have to say. I used to not, but now I do. There's something quite relaxing about, like, how I batch work is, I'm sure it's the same as how most people do it actually. I do like, oh, I'm going to do all the first layer. So all the greens on the first layer across all the models, all the reds on the first layer across the models, and then I'll, shade them all at the same time, leave them to dry, and then start the highlights all at the same time. And it's really interesting because I love watching them all come together at the same time, at the same speed. I find it really, really quite relaxing, but I don't think I could do it very often. I want to do detail work every now and then like this. Don't cap at me. Crayons are the ultimate art medium. The ultimate. 200 night goblins, holy crap. So just green and black and a bit of yellow. I'd go mad. 200 night goblins is insane. But you know what? I actually really miss dry brushing. I don't dry brush anymore. I moved away from it because, I wanted to appear more professional, and people sneer at dry brushing. I don't know, screw them, because dry brushing you get amazing effects with dry brushing. And it's brilliant. Whoop, way too much paint there. It's brilliant. I miss doing it actually. Might dry brush something now. Just to spite everyone. Oh god. It is a legit technique. You're correct. Do you know what I find absolutely amazing though? I don't know if you've ever seen it. Dipping. Oh man, dipping's fantastic. If you paint over the dip, like, you base color, so you get a really nice base layer of colors in, and then you dip to get all the shading, then you let it dry, and then you paint over it with like little highlights. Holy crap, that looks beautiful. And I think people got really defensive when dipping first started becoming a thing. They're like, oh, it's not really painting, it's not really painting. It is painting. It's a fantastic way of getting huge amounts of work done to a really nice standard really quickly. Some people are like that about airbrushing, which I find very strange. Airbrushing isn't painting, oh, it's cheating. It's like, have you ever tried airbrushing? It takes more skill, just from the technical side of it, than most brushwork. Sorry, I had a little rant there. Hope you all enjoyed that rant. Yeah, digital painting as well. People are weird about, oh, your computer's doing all the work. No, it's not. Braxophone, that sounds amazing with the Grey Knights. yeah. Did you source these materials yourself? Is that brush made from your own eyelashes? Oh my god, you're a faker. god, sorry, I keep on bringing it too close. What am I gonna do about this tail? It looks so out of place. Fredox, yeah, that's a really good motivation. I disagree with forcing people to paint by saying it can't be on the table unless it's painted, because I think what that does is make people not enjoy painting. It's a chore. It's literally a chore. They have to get it done. They're going to enjoy it even less. I think what works much better for that kind of thing is to show people like batch painting, to show them dry brushing, to show them dipping, anything that's going to really help speed them up and get a nice, enjoyable effect, as opposed to just telling them, no, you can't use this here till it's painted. Yeah, Calican, the airbrush is, I mean, I only started airbrushing, the very first models I airbrushed were the Eldar army I did ages ago. And like with airbrushing, it doesn't have to be as complicated as you want it to be. So I mean, for the base grey on this guy, it's literally, he was black and I just sprayed grey from an angle above him to hit certain gradients. You don't need a huge amount of skill to get a really nice smooth airbrush finish. You develop the skill by using the airbrush. The airbrush I got is a €20 airbrush, €20, and I've been using it for 5 years. I'm only upgrading next month because it's my birthday and I'm treating myself. Well, actually, my boyfriend's going to get it for me, so he's treating me. But I mean, I'm only upgrading to a proper airbrush now. You don't need to spend a huge amount of money on it. You don't have to stress. You can totally learn how to airbrush really, really quickly. And just for basic stuff, just to help speed things up for you, like base colouring, getting a nice shade down. So yeah, don't worry about not having the skill for it. It's exactly like any other kind of painting. The skill comes from practicing with it. Yes, Fredox, I agree. I think in a tournament, it's a different setting. But I mean, I've been to gaming stores where they haven't let people just play unless they have painted armies, and to be honest, to me that reeks of just wanting to sell paint, which I can understand, but I don't think you're actually helping the community. I think you're just, making them buy stuff. Catechin, just mess around with it, just play with it. I mean, especially if you're painting Marines, an airbrush for Marines is mwah, amazing. Get beautiful base colours down, get a really nice shade just from spraying directly above. It's a lifesaver. I wouldn't paint Marines without airbrushing their base colours. No way. I'm really getting upset about this tail because I'm stumped. I don't know what to do about it. Well, no, and I couldn't do it without them. Wait, no, that didn't make sense. I couldn't do them without it. I love blending with the airbrush. Oh yeah, so fun. Iffy, can you hide parts of the tail? You know, I could, but I'm not basing this. The guy I'm sending this to, the owner, has a very specific basing layout, and I don't want to make a try at it because I'll ruin it. So I'm leaving this for him to base, but the problem is that it's a smooth transition, and sorry, just holding my breath for this bit. Oh, there we go. The problem is it's a smooth transition, and I don't have any areas that I can fine line on it, so it just doesn't really suit. I'm sure I'll come up with something towards the end. I'm gonna hold my breath again. Okay. Well, I'd say now that oh no, Jesus. Oh God. I had to say I thought she was doing okay, but here's awful. And here. Thought I was about done. And more legs. Actually, I'm gonna give this brush a little rest and give it a little clean. A little clean. Because I'm trying to avoid any paint getting into the ferrule. The ferrule is the metal part. That's what destroys brushes. Absolutely destroys them. So after I've been painting my brush for a couple of hours, I'll take a second, give it a little clean. You can actually, I don't know if you can see that, it's dirt coming out of the ferrule. I like how I said dirt. It's not dirt, it's paint, but you know what I mean. Filth. Dirty, dirty dirt. Okay. Haha, I'll show you this magic in a second. This is the, probably, bar the brush, the most important bit of kit I can recommend for painting, which is Master's Brush Cleaner. I'll show you in just a sec. So what it's doing is, because I'm pulling it down like this, it's pulling the paint out the ferrule especially. There's still some in there, but not much. By the way, am I loud enough? I hope I'm loud enough. Let me know if I could be louder. As I was saying earlier, these brushes are made with these brushes are sable brushes, so they're made with fur. So I take looking after them quite seriously, and I think anyone who has them should, because the majority of professional detail brushes are sable. So what this is, just to explain, this is basically hair conditioner. really nice hair conditioner because this is hair, so it makes sense. This is called the Masters Brush Cleaner, and it's a very, very light conditioner, cleanser and wax for brushes. So you can use it to clean your brush, but you can also, you know, let it set on the brush to keep the brush in a fine point overnight, and it deep conditions it as if you were conditioning your hair. So like after, I don't know if you guys saw that brush beforehand, but I'll show it to you now and you'll see the tip is black, exactly the way it should be. Let me just, the tip of the brush should be, that is sable, black tip. That brush is now completely clean, like really nice. If I can get up close, have a look. This will, come on, focus. Come on, camera, you can do it. I know it can focus closer. Ah, there we go. So that brush is completely clean. There's a little bit of darkening up around the ferrule. I'll give that a clean later on, a proper one. But this is how these brushes last so long, and you should be looking after Winsor & Newton brushes like this. So this stuff here it is. The Masters brush cleaner and preserver. It costs nothing. It's like £5 for a block this size, and you won't use this in years. And this stuff will revive dry brushes. This will pull the paint out of any brush. I've used it to take varnish out of brushes that I thought I'd completely ruined, and it's just completely restored them. Very good stuff. Get it in any art store. Art supply store, not art store, that doesn't make sense. Catechin, no, I don't use it. You could use it for your hair if you really needed to. And oh, also it'll take the paint off your hands really well. They actually make a soap for your hands called the Masters Brush Cleaner hand soap, and it's this big green bar of beautiful mint soap. It just takes any paint off your hands and without ruining your skin. So it's amazing. I'm just going to be 2 seconds. First of all, I'm just letting my lovely brush have a little dry. And I'm also just going to reshare on my Facebook and stuff that I'm painting, because it's been hours now, actually. I'm going to eat a grape to reward myself. Some good grapes. It's really hard to type with gloves on. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just having a think. I'd say that the detail work on the... Every time I say that, I notice more I need to do. My god. I'd say the detail work on the legs is like 99% complete now. But there's quite a lot more to go. So let's just have another quick look at what this looks like with the body on. I'm really happy with this. It's very messy. Focus. It's very messy at the moment. Still has a long way to go because so much of it is going to be detailed down and toned down and then re-highlighted, you can definitely see the effect, especially around his abdomen. His abdomen is very bright right now. It's not going to be bright when this is done. That's going to be much toned down. So, okay, I'd say I'm about done with those two bits. Let's go on to his winglings. His winglings. Camera! Thank you, camera. Just talk nicely to the camera. I like how the camera actually responded to me shouting. That's amazing. Okay, so wingling time. So I have to be quite careful with his winglings because they are a focal point on the figure. Focal point's very important. You know, it's where the eye is going to go first. The eyes are going to go straight to these wings. Maybe his head, but probably the wings. So what I want to do is just be super neat, because I'm not going to be able to clean these up as easily as I'm going to be able to clean up his abdomen and everything. So this is a bigger deal. And actually, you know what? I'm going to darken this down before I lighten it up. He has a lot of little joints, like in here, like the big joint here, and his little fingers. I'm going to darken those bits down before I start doing the highlighting, because doing it the other way is silly. It's far easier to paint in a recess than it is, sorry, I said that wrong. It's far easier to paint on an outer part like this neatly than it is to paint in a recess neatly. It's far more likely that when I paint the recess, I'll get a little bit of the edge, or I'll get a little bit of an area I didn't want to actually hit. So if I was to paint the outside first very carefully and then go in and paint the recesses, there's a good chance I'm going to damage the work I did on the outside and have to redo it anyway. So this is one of those things you have to keep in mind. The layers you paint in what order. So I was getting some black. I'm just using black with a little bit of thinner. Have a look. Who are you? Do I know you? Are you a new person? Hello. Hello. Actually, I'm not going to use thinner. I use glaze medium for nearly everything. I've so much glaze medium. Like, I've so much. I've got about a gallon of it up here on the wall, and then I have these little ones. So I use it for everything. Glaze medium is fantastic because it allows the paint to become very slightly transparent. It's basically what the glaze medium is the fluid that the paint is using anyway. So that the paint is fluid and pigment. So by adding more of the fluid to it, you're lowering the pigmentation down, you allow it to become a little bit transparent. So it's really good. It's really good. And seriously, I have so much. It's disgusting. No one needs as much as I have. I swear I drink it. Oh, hello! Cool, good. I was worried about that because normally when I post something on Tumblr, I get a couple of notices, and nobody seemed to have actually noticed that I posted that. So I was like, oh man, shit. Okay. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to put in these little bits. I was thinking electric green. But maybe not. Kind of depends on what it looks like as it progresses. Because his eyes, for instance, are actually going to be very bright blue. Which sounds a bit weird, but that's how they are. Oh, that's cool. Guys, I'm really happy that you're going to be painting some Tyranids too. They're such beautiful models because you've such freedom of creativity with them. You can do anything. We were talking about that earlier. Nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. You want them to be pink polka dots. Well, that's your hive. Go for it. So all I'm doing here is just, actually drawing attention to the fact that these details are here. One thing the airbrush doesn't do well is leaving recesses, very, very, very mild recesses like this. It will tend to cover them. So I'm just deepening the shadow a little bit, because when I go over this with the striping, that shadow will be way more apparent then. I'm not being hyper neat with this either, because I don't need to be. Because I'm doing that filigree over it, it's gonna clean it up anyway. Camera focus. What are you painting at the moment, have a look? Oh, Eldar. Beautiful. What, oh shit, what are they called? It's not Homeworld. Crap. What colour scheme are you using? Sorry, I can't think of the Eldar have a specific term for that and I can't remember what it is. Craft World, yeah. God, I was close. Sorry guys, this keeps on defocusing and I'm not noticing because I'm not paying the attention I should be. Apologies. There we go. So all I'm doing here is darkening down just some little bits so that when I go over this with the filigree highlight, it has a little bit of contrast to go against without having these little dark bits. It's not as noticeable. Yeah, have a look. This is the problem. If I deactivate the autofocus, if I was painting a completely flat miniature, I was talking about this earlier. If I'm painting a completely flat miniature, so if I have it here, I can disable it for now because I'm painting this. But as soon as I go back to painting this, it needs to be on because the model is so tall that I'm constantly moving it around and moving it and I'm doing this, that and that. Kind of has to be on. It's a big problem at the moment. I'm working on a solution that kind of is gonna meet both needs because I'm using a Mac to do this recording and it has really poor camera options, really poor controls. I'll disable it for now. Let's see how it goes. Give me a second. Webcam checking. Let's see what happens. Okay. So autofocus is now off, so I have to manually focus it in. Should be about there. As long as I keep it at around this level, it should be okay. But the problem is if I lift it at all, it's going to go out of focus. But let's stay with this for a while. And you guys can be you guys are my test teams. You let me know, you know, if it needs to change again. Don't know if you heard that noise. That was the sound of another Tyranid model I have on the shelf just exploding. It just fell apart. Oh man, what a day. Testicles. What? Testicles. Okay, so I think I've done everything on this side. Just flip her over. Oh look, that's a really, really good idea. Really good idea, actually. I'll try that out for my next vid. The problem, see, okay, I'll explain as I'm painting anyway. But what happened was, this is a new webcam, and well, it's actually an old one that I've been using for quite a while, but the Mac hadn't used it before. So in order to get the settings to work at all, I had to download an app that I had to pay for. Oh, man, it's frustration. But it was having a lot of trouble with the white balance, and I was running late on the live stream anyway. So I was able to kind of get it resolved by just manually setting it, but I needed a white background. But you're right. I think having a detailed backdrop would help it and not focus, because it's trying to focus on the white constantly. I think you're right. Very, very good point. Thank you for raising it. Nearly done. I'm gonna do one wing at a time. I'm not gonna bother doing the other one yet, because it'll probably take me an hour to get this done once I start the free lining. And by then I'll want to stop and have a break and have a bit to eat. Don't know about you guys, but I find that when I paint, I completely forget to eat. Like, just completely forget, because I'm so absorbed in what I'm doing. And then a couple of hours later, I'm like, why am I so shaky? Why is my heart beating so fast? Oh, right, that's because I haven't eaten anything, which is dumb. Okay, so that's actually a little bit here. It's got some funny markings here. Just highlight a wee bit the dark before I put the filigree around it. Okay. And the grape. Also, 2 seconds, because my phone has been beeping a lot at me. What do you want, phone? Okay. Turns out the majority of that beeping was dominoes sending me text messages because they know I love pizza. Hey, you want to buy some pizza? Special offer today. Bastards, they know. Okay, so I'm gonna push the filigree on the wings to kind of above, actually I might start on this side first, it's easier to hold, kind of above to where it was on the carapace, the chest and the legs area, because this is the focal point. This is the part of the model that everyone's going to be looking at because it's so big and colourful. So I have my nice glaze down, so I'm just going to start. Again, I always start with the edges because I want to get the shape down before I start doing any little patterns. Also, I find the edges the part you need to concentrate the most on, so by getting this out of the way, I'm letting my brain kind of calm down later on for doing the more fun parts. I don't have to focus as much, I can just do little shapes. I'm not that patient, pal, let me tell you. I have problems with rushing ahead and ruining figures. I've done it quite a few times. So I force myself to kind of step back and go, okay, calm down, go slower. There's no rush. Okay. This is I can't remember if the folks here who were talking about earlier about why I'm wearing the gloves is because of the oils on my hands. This is the part where that's really important. If I had, you know, because the oil hitting the gloss, ugh, no. And even though your hands are clean, it doesn't matter, they still have oil on them. I'm actually quite frustrated that I can't find a way to name this broadcast. Every time I try to, it just fails. I don't know if it's because the broadcasting software I'm using shouldn't be interfering with Twitch's ability to name a broadcast. That shouldn't matter, I don't think. And yes, eating is important. It's because when you get into a really strong painting vibe, what happens is you don't realize that your blood sugar is going low, or you actually haven't eaten in a few hours, and it's a really bad thing because you can be left with the shakes or a lack of concentration. So it's very easy to fall into that trap. Yeah, to be honest, anything that you get absorbed in, it happens in. Yeah, I'm getting errors every time I try and rename it. It just says error cannot update channel. It happened last time I tried to do it as well. No error code. It's just saying the error is cannot update channel. And I'll try again now. Because see, I'm on the dashboard right now. Okay, so I'll click update. Error updating broadcast. That's all it says, and nothing happens. So I can't title it. I can't say what I'm doing. Nothing. It's very strange, and the exact same thing happened before. To be honest, I'd say it's gonna be something silly like it's my browser. I'll definitely get on it for my next stream because I do plan on doing this pretty much every time I paint. Folks that want to come join in. No, serious. This is a serious place. Clear the cache. Yeah, I think it is just going to be the browser. To be honest, I could actually try it. I'll open it in another browser because I'm using Chrome. I'll open it in Safari. A trick when you're that's amazing. I'm like, oh, a trick for when you're doing this, and immediately make a mistake. A trick for when you're ever doing this kind of freehand is to always pull down for straight lines and go sideways for curves. So that's why I'm spinning the model around as I paint it, so I can pull down for a nice straight line and then go sideways if I want to do a curve. And this is a lifesaver if, like me, you actually are really bad at freehand. Like I'm really poor at freehand. It's just practicing a lot. And has let me get to do these little lines. Even then, they're not great. So you basically want to go straight up or straight down, and for curves you go sideways. In a nutshell. I'm going to try the incognito mode now in just one sec. I just want to continue going with this because I'm getting nice results. I kind of am in a weird way. I mean, when you're doing these lines, you want to try and go along the form of the figure itself, and all these parts are long tendons. On his carapace, I could do it differently because it's kind of like lots of little lumps and bumps, so I can do lots of circular areas. But here it needs to be a lot more straight lines in order to look good. I mean, I can do the odd little curve like I'm doing right now, but it should be mostly straight lines. And I mean, they're not actually straight. I mean, they're quite, you know, curvy, but they're still all going in one direction, which just really helps because that's the shape the figure is. And if you're going to do all these little lines, you want to make sure they actually match the figure's overall look. Okay. Yeah, I like the long flowing lines as well, so this is a lovely chance to get them in. And they can be all over the wing, to be honest. I can really go crazy with the wing. Okay, so 2 seconds. I'm just going to try incognito mode as was advised. Let's see if it works for renaming this, because I'd like to actually have the right channel up. You're just back. Let's see if this works. Be really great if it does. Okay. Let's just see if this updates. Error updating broadcast. No. So incognito doesn't work either. I don't think it is the browser. Very odd. I just can't do it from my dash. But I tried last time I did this as well and I couldn't do it. It was just over and over. Okay, let's try setting a game. Now playing Poop. There is actually a game called Poop. Oh, I'm really happy now. Okay. Pooper Deluxe. Oh wait, no, maybe I shouldn't set that in case it's something really dodgy. Let's try Minecraft. No, I can't even set a game. I can't do anything. Yeah, it could be the program. That's what I was thinking. I'm using OBS, but I can't see any way to actually edit my channel through it. So I don't know how it would be doing this. And I tried I tried editing the channel without OBS running, same thing. So I'll leave it for now, but I'll do some experimenting later on tonight and see if I can work out what's going on. Very, very frustrating, alright. Especially, like, as you said, it's actually quite important for people to find this. At the moment, I think people are only able to find this if I tell them about it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. OBS is just a studio program. It shouldn't be able to do this. I'll tell you what though, I'm going to do something awful. I'm going to open Safari. Everyone hold on to your butts. Ugh. Ugh. Ugh, it's there now. Ugh. I'm going to log in to Safari and see if it lets me do it. Because if it does, then it's Chrome. But I don't know. See, that's an odd error. That's an odd error for it to be a browser at all. It could be my, I guess it could be my connection, but even then, that don't sound right. I know, I'm sorry everyone, I'm really sorry for subjecting you to the fact that I have Safari open right now. I understand. At least it's not I. Okay, well, you enjoy that cuppa. I wish I had one. I made one for myself this morning and then I started doing this, and by the time I even got my first sip, it was ice cold. I actually do with a bit of coffee. You know what I need? I need one of those, I need one of those little USB mats that you plug into your laptop and they heat the cup that you put on top of them. Keep my coffee warm. That's genius. So, by the way, guys, I haven't had autofocus on. Now, I think personally it's a bit of a shame because the stream isn't as clear, but is it better to not, like, for you guys as viewers, because I can't view this in full size, is it better off as it is? Cool, okay. I am going to log out for just a second, as you all advised, so I don't cause any problems. Me logging out won't stop the actual stream, will it? Because it's coming from the streaming program. No, I can't do it from I can't do it from Safari either. So it's maybe it's the account cache, like you said. No, I don't want to be the testicle. No, can't update the broadcast. That's very frustrating. Actually, there's a question. Can you, I'm sure I can, update my dash from my phone? It feels like a bit of a roundabout way of doing this though, although it'd be a very quick way of telling if it's the network. Yeah, you're right. Distracting myself. Ooh. No, I don't want to do that anyway. Screw it. I'll sort something out, I'm sure. I'll just do some messing around with it tonight when I'm done streaming. I'm not too worried about not getting tons of people anyway. Not for now. What a lovely figure this is. The wings are gorgeous. I remember I said it in my last stream, but I'm sure a lot of you weren't there for that. I remember how hard it was to get nice wings back in the day, and that the only figure that had like nice wings that people would use was the Greater Demon of Khorne, but he was solid metal. And then Lord of the Rings got released by Games Workshop, and there was all these beautiful new figures, and the most popular one was the Balrog for his wings. They were absolutely gorgeous, and everyone started using those wings for their conversions and their dragons and stuff. But Games Workshop got really annoyed with that because they didn't want people mixing Lord of the Rings and Games Workshop products. Yeah, it was a fuck ton of money as well, I remember that. Yeah, as a company, they're bizarre. I mean, they have basically a monopoly on the whole market for wargaming. They're only starting to get challenges now with the likes of like War Machine is getting very popular. But it was always surprising how much they were willing to just be jerks to the fans. And did it really matter that they were using their Balrog stuff? I'm sure it was IP related, but I don't know. It just feels like a kind of a pointless thing to not let your fans do. I mean, I seriously doubt New Line was it New Line Cinema? I can't remember. The people who released Lord of the Rings, they can't have any control over what people do with those figures. I do remember being absolutely blown away by the Balrog though, because prior to that, Citadel's monsters were quite chunky. I mean, not in a bad way. They're just like big and burly. And that Balrog was incredibly sleek. He was lovely. That was the advent, I think, of plastics getting good. I think that Balrog was released as a metal, if I recall. But I mean, plastics are absolutely amazing now. The details that they're putting through on plastics you couldn't have imagined years ago. Like, what? No, you can't get that kind of detail with plastic. Don't be dumb. It's got to be solid metal. And now the plastics are just unbelievably good, which is good for us, as putting the metal stuff together was. Oh. Yeah, that's what it was. Demon Prince conversions, yeah. Jesus, because oh man, the old Demon Princes were butt ugly. Absolutely, oh, so bad looking. So you might notice that I'm turning the mini a lot. I'm turning it so that I can make lines that are straight pull down. As I said earlier, it's much easier to get a straight line pulling down than it is going sideways. It's just so much easier. It's just due to how our hands work. So when I need to do these little straight lines, I'm shifting the figure around so that I have a straight part to work with. I can just go down. Can't do that with everything, but for nice big ones like this, it's easy enough. Okay, so I'd say that the muscle of his arm on this side is about done. The little wingy bits need a lot more work. Okay, I'm gonna get started on them. These are gonna be pretty simple. These are just straight lines, mostly. Actually, I'll get all of the little joints done first. I'm probably going to take a break in a little while, guys, just to rest my eyes and have a bit of food. But I'll let you know. And I'll update on Facebook as soon as I'm back. I'll try and get the weird problem with the updating channel resolved as well. Or sorry, update broadcast. I hope the quality of the webcam is doing okay. I think it's for the price, very good. I had a lot of trouble watching any kind of live streams of mini painting before because often you'd see just really blurry, low resolution images, so it was like, what's the point? But with this, I could paint up really close and still get a nice finish in the video. What a difference some little tiny lines make, eh? Now you see the joints. Couldn't really see them before. Will I do them around the nails? I think I will. Not do any harm. It's a Microsoft Livecam Cinema, and the reason it's so good, let me show you why. I'll have to focus this in manually, but you'll still get an idea. Okay, so I can bring this like to here. So like I can bring this so close that you can see the airbrush specks. It has a really crazy zoom. I can bring it much closer than that, much closer, while getting a really good resolution, and that's why this is so good for mini painting. And a lot of people had recommended specifically this to me. Yeah, I think this cost me like 20. No, actually I lied because I got it a few years ago. I think it's about €30, and it's like, wow, amazing. But the problem that I have with it is that the actual Livecam control panel is amazing. Oh my god, it's beautiful, but it doesn't work on the Mac. So I have to use a third-party add-on for it, and it's not as good. Ooh, I don't know if I should. No, I'm not going to. I was going to streak down the center of his fingers, but I'm not going. I'm going to go along the edges. I think it'll actually look a bit better. Oh, that's way too thick. Yes, stupid Max. All of my hatred. Whew. To hold my breath. I'm like, deep breath, line. Deep breath, line. There we go. Ooh, bloody hell. No. See, I'm using the paint is liquidy enough that if I make a mistake, I can actually rub it off like that. Also, because I'm using the glaze medium I mentioned earlier, it has a slight drying slow down. So you get that extra moment of, oh shit, when you can fix something, which is very handy. Right, that's too bright. There we go. L2 Vampire, how dare you? I'll have you know I don't know where I'm going with that. I'm gonna stop. These lines. Let's try again. There we go. Oh, it's not skill. I'm sweating doing this. It's like panic. Straight lines, no. Might be easier doing them from this side. It's all about finding the right angle for this. Whatever you can to make getting the lines very smooth and very straight. This is the tough part. I wish I was dry brushing this guy. God. But this is fun. It's just a bit painstaking. Say the least. Headbutt my lamp again. I'm just taking this off camera just for a second, just because this bit is so finicky. There we go. I just needed to hold that a little bit further towards my body. No. No, it's not finished yet. It's not finished yet at all. Wish it was. Long way to go. So these white lines that I'm just doing along the edges, well, they're not white, they're the grey. Let's check this one. They're more guidelines. Like, I'm going to be adding the nice colourful lines as well, the ones that are more swirly. But you need to kind of outline the shape anyway, because if you just go straight into adding like wiggly, nice looking lines, you're not outlining the shape enough. And the shape does need to be outlined quite strongly. Or you don't get a nice effect. So that's what I was saying about you always outline all the edges first, and then you go in and do your funny little filigree lines and detailing. Hello, Adventurous Moose. This is my second one ever. Like, ever. I only started doing this once the other week because somebody said I should. So I said, oh yeah, sure, why not? I'm planning on doing these whenever I paint. So it should be at least once a week. I don't have a huge amount of free time because, like most adults, my life is taken up with a full-time job. But Yeah, I want to try for at least once a week, and I'll stream for the entire time I'm painting. Like I'm gonna be painting all day today. Bar, I'm gonna take a break in a minute for a snack. But I'll be painting pretty much the whole day. 6 o'clock now. No, sorry, 5 o'clock. Okay. Man, these are sharp. I'm getting stabbed. My fingers. Okay. Okay, I'd say don't really need to push this much further than this. Um, Otherwise I'm gonna make it a bit more busy than I want it to be. It's already very, very busy. Probably leave it off here because, as I've said a few times, and I'll say again for the benefit of the new folks, this is like phase 1. This is all going to be brought down with glaze and then brought back up again. With very fine details. Like this is the messy part of the detailing. So next to the, I think that's gonna look pretty good. Okay, folks, I'm going to stop for probably about half an hour. I'd say I just want to have something to eat, have a sandwich or something. Stretch my back out. Been sitting for quite a while. It's very important. And I'm also going to see if I can do a bit of experimenting and work out why Twitch won't update any of my channel details, because there's definitely something going on there. I'll put up a update on my Facebook painting page as soon as I'm coming back online. I'm going to link it here because I know there's some folks from Tumblr who may not have it. So let me just grab it here. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and set it while I'm offline. I'm going to see if that, you know, is the actual problem. See if that helps. So I'll put a update on that page as soon as I'm coming up live again. I won't be too long. I just need to take a little break because my back is sore and I need some food. And then I'm going to continue on with this side of the wing, which is completely undone. But what I'm hoping for, I think I said earlier today, what I'm hoping for tonight is the head, both wings, the body, everything to be done with the first layer of this white filigree, well, grey filigree. Then I'm gonna bring it down. So I think I'm going to get the glaze in if I can as well tonight. And get all that done, and then I'll take some actual photos so you can see what it actually looks like, because this is very strongly, the white balance is pulling the grey as being really, really bright. It's not this bright. So the photos will make a big difference. But yeah, so I'm going to go offline now. Thanks everyone for joining in. I'll be back online in about half an hour, so I'll make an update on that page as soon as I'm coming back up. And thank you all for joining in. Ah, yes. Oh, I'm glad you're having a look. That fire prism was very fun, but it's not, there's quite a lot of stuff on that page, but if you keep going down, you'll see